Lapicus, who has gotten it done in the first round almost every time, 10 of those inside of 2 minutes. Alvarez, no slouch when it comes to finishing opponents quickly. Here's the elder statesman, here's the veteran, Eddie Alvarez. How does he handle the juggernaut style of Iuri Lapicus? Lapicus coming into unfamiliar territory for the first time ever off a loss in his world title bid against Christian Lee last time out. Big overhand right there from Iuri Lapicus. We're joined once again by the Dragon, Mitch Jilson.
Good head movement so far by Eddie Alvarez. He's got to keep that head moving. Iuri Lapicus has incredible straight punches. He has to be very careful at keeping his head off of that center line and mixing up the punches into the takedowns, because that's what Eddie does best, is mixing things up.
Shoots in for an early takedown, does Eddie Alvarez. Can he get Lapicus down? Lapicus posting on that left arm. Eddie working for it.
Eddie's got incredible topside jiu-jitsu. His jiu-jitsu game, once he gets on top, is second to none. He's also a high-level wrestler as well. Look at the way he has those legs triangled. Now he's going to slowly try to soften his way back up and work his way into mount.
Oh, big hammer fist strike there from Alvarez.
Back of the head, let's go.
Wow, referee saying that Eddie had struck Lapicus on the back of the head.
Okay, so the rule here on the back of the head is, as long as Eddie is making contact with the ear, then it's not considered the back of the head. And that's, you could hear Eddie yelling that at the referee, that he said, no, this is the back of the ear, the back of the ear.
Take us through it here, Rich.
Well, you can see Iuri has actually turned his head here, and this was strategically a very smart thing to do by Iuri, to turn his head, because he knew that he had no defense there. It looked like the last punch that Eddie threw hit the back of the head.
So some controversy in the opening round here. Eddie Alvarez disappointed, believing that his strikes were legal on Iuri Lapicus. Referee had other thoughts on that. Let's take a look at the replay again here, Dragon.
Yeah, you can see that his ear is tucked into the side of the face of Eddie's head right there, and those shots are landing.
Until Iuri actually turned his head, I don't think that those initial shots...
Really? You could see his ear positioned right up against the side of Eddie's face. Yeah, some of those shots looked like they were to the back of the head,
okay,
Rich.
Let me just say this. It didn't look like Eddie was purposely targeting the back of the head initially, but
100%.
Once Iuri really turned his head in there for those last 2 or 3 shots, he should have known better and stopped those punches.
So some debate here at the commentary position between Rich Franklin and Mitch Jilson. What did you think, folks? Were they illegal strikes to the back of the head of Iuri Lapicus, or were they fine from Eddie Alvarez? You see Eddie still saying, I caught him on the ear. It's perfectly legal.
Every single one of those shots needs to touch the ear of your opponent. You cannot hit the back of the head. So anything that does not hit the ear is the back of the head. And I think at least 2 of those, Rich.
100%, at least 2 of those. It was probably the last 3. What I'm saying is
all that matters is 1.
100%.
1 matters.
But you keep in mind, it's the intent of the athlete, right? Because if I'm throwing a punch and you're turning your head as I throw the punch.
And they turn, so what does that mean?
Well, that means on the initial punch, when I throw an initial punch to the back to your head, if you turn and I catch the back of your head, you're at fault there. If I follow up with a second punch and it hits you in the back of the head, I'm now at fault.
So intent, that's the deciding factor.
Well, that's part of the deciding factor. But the intent is, so if I'm going to throw a punch, look here, come here, Michael. Okay. If I go to throw a punch on Michael, and as I'm throwing the punch, Michael turns his head, and I happen to connect, that's not necessarily a foul. I'll get warned for it. If I follow up and his head is still turned, this is the foul, right? Now, if you look at the punches from those first couple punches he threw, maybe they were connecting the ear, maybe not. But when Iuri turned the head in tight, that as he turned the head in tight, if that initial punch landed to the back of the head, the referee at that point in time should have said, hey, do not touch the back of the head. Once Eddie followed up the second time, and I believe the third time, those were definitely, oh, wow.
Right there.
God, Rich, what does it mean for Eddie Alvarez?
This is a disqualification. Wow. The match is over.